Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for the Pro Division in the Palm Tree Open Tournament Qualifying Round Edition. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and before we start, make sure that you do hit that like button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. You can get absolute most detailed and best guides on the market for Pro Division or Expert or Master. Patreon.com/GolfClashTommy, link directly in the description down below. Follow the info box on the right hand side to get the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, and also what ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that these are all suggestions and you don't have to follow anything that I do suggest, but there is always a plan behind it. A lot of drops is coming your way, so enjoy and let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1, we're going to start off by playing with a driver that has 6 bars of topspin. In my bag, that is the extra mile level 8. I'm using 6 bars of topspin and as much as side spin to the right possible, 3 bars that is. Adjustment, maximum distance with a 15% over adjustment. Half a ball of curl to the right and hit perfect. Now, we're gonna pay close attention to what drive yardage we are going to have. And with this drive, we're going to get 355. From 355, we are going to play with 1 bar of backspin on our thorn. And as we do not have any plus yardage reference to use, we need to solely rely on that yardage that we did have. So that's why it's very important to once again to remember the 355 yards that we got after our drive. 1 bar of backspin and no side spin whatsoever. Ball guideline to be just slightly short of hole because we do have tailwind and we're gonna have an extended ball guideline due to that. Adjustment once again here now, it's gonna be played 69% slider, 15% elevation. Adjustment is made over bullseye, so make sure that you do adjust with your thorn to pull over the bullseye. So let's say for the sake of the example, you shall adjust 3 rings. You pull from the yellow ring out to the outer side of the red ring on the other side. Write that pin for a lovely eagle. So 355 equals 69% slider, 15% elevation, based on a perfect drive. If you have a great right, you need to deduct 4% on the slider. If you do have a great left, you need to add 4% to the slider due to a great right takes you closer to hole, a great left takes you further away from hole. Have that in mind. Hole number 2, and here we're going to play with the driver that gives us the most power and most topspin possible. Add spin and then ball guideline straight down the fairway. 6 bars of topspin, 2 bars of left spin is what I'm using here on my extra mile level 8. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, and when we do make our adjustment, it's very important that you look how many rings you go into overpower. So for the sake of the example, let's say that I do adjust 2 rings into overpower, then you shall adjust then you shall use 2 rings of overpower on your shot. A minor great left and a great right will still be fine, but obviously a bad great left or a great right will become trouble for you. I think that you can do, especially for those of you having lower level drivers, meaning that you only have 4.5 bar topspin on your drive, use a berserker ball instead to make sure that you do have the power and can aim, can start higher up and also don't have to go with max overpower, which you would have to do when it comes to playing with a power 3 ball. Second shot, as we do have, you know, a little headwind. Sure, we do have more crosswind than we do have headwind, then I'm not gonna take any risk trying to go for an aggressive rough bump, especially not in the qualifying round. So I'm gonna use 2 bars of left spin, 3.5 bar top spin. Ball guidelines should go to the hole, not through the hole. So to the hole, very important. Adjustment here from this area is medium distance with a 10% over adjustment, or at least that is what I do in the video. 6.5 rings is adjusted, which is a medium distance plus 10. Now we're gonna focus and try to hit perfect. We do. and you will see the ball bounce lovely on the fairway, getting it over the rough and the sand and roll up towards the pin. Unfortunately, we do over adjust just barely with approximately 2 decimals, or we would have got that one for an albatross. This is a tough hole, a tough par 5 where an albatross will be somewhat rare, so don't be that mad if you don't get it, but with this shot you will get a good opportunity. Hole number 3, good chance we do have a good wind. Here we look for top right of the yellow ring by the rough line, and then we're looking at the ball guideline C. We want the ball guideline to be in between the dark and the bright green square row without spin applied. Once we find that, we apply spin. 1 backspin, 2 bars of left spin, couldn't be easier. And once that is done, you will see the ball guideline to be just right of pin, but that is all compensated for by the rollout here with the tailwind. Minimum distance with a 5% over adjustment, power 2 ball settings. Center the ball and try to hit perfect, and this one is going to be close. I like close. It's this this time it's gonna drop, but it's going to be generally close. Roll up the hill, down towards the pin, right the pin for a beautiful hole-in-one. I really do enjoy this hole when we do get a favorable wind, which we're getting now for the rough bump. It's only when we do have wind coming left to right that I'm a bit nervous, because then the trees are in play. For hole number 4, you will see 2 options, one where we lay up and one where we play aggressive. So we start with the layup option using 6 bars of topspin, and we're playing with a power 2 ball. Just before the +1 yard mark is where we do start, and when we do have 6 bars of topspin, like for the extra mile level 8, we shall just go for what it is. If you do play with extra mile level 6 or 7, which only have 4.5 bar topspin, then we shall make sure to push up to max after we have made our adjustment. Why? It's because it has less topspin and will therefore, roll, shorter. So we need to compensate in one way, and that we will do by pushing up to max after our adjustment with those clubs. Second shot is gonna be playing with the thorn. Here I'm gonna be very focused on getting first down to minimum distance, and then I will push up until my ball guideline goes through the hole without having any spin applied. So in this case I play with 7 rings push up to get the ball guideline through the hole. Then I shall adjust medium distance with a 5% over adjustment, and I'm adding 0.1, which is 7% slider. So 5% elevation, 7% slider, because it's 7 rings that I pushed up. So every ring that I push up equals 1% slider with a thorn, and that's why we play with a thorn as well, to simplify it as much as possible. Right up in for a beautiful eagle. You may be wondering, okay, if I'm just at the minimum distance line, what should I do then? You should play it, obviously, minimum distance. You shouldn't go any slider whatsoever in that case. But now, let's take a look at the more aggressive option, which is going to be tricky, but you might could stay away from having to lay up and just get the eagle by going to green. For the more aggressive option, we need to play with a power 5 ball, preferably play with a power 5 ball with more wind resistance than a 1, but the reason I'm using a berserker ball here is to show you that it is possible to get to the green area even if we play with free-to-play ball like berserker. 3 bars of backspin, 2 bars side spin to the right, yellow ring by the rough line in complete max distance, adjust max plus 15%, half a ball of curl to the right, and max overpower. You can see how close we are to get out from the rough, and if we would be getting out from the rough, it would have been a super duper simple eagle for us. But now we go into the rough, and that's obviously going to be trickier. So the thing that you can do if you have a high wind with a berserker ball around 7.5 to 8 miles per hour, then you can reduce the backspin a little bit, or you can just change ball to another power 5 ball with more wind resistance. Again, as we're going to have to play with max overpower for this shot, it's going to be a shot that would sometimes hit great left or a great right, and that could hurt us, that could also help us. We actually don't know. If you do get into the rough or bunker like here, make sure to look for the massive funnel that it is there by the green, because that is, I don't think there is many other funnels in the game that is that large, which means that you can hit great left or great right from the rough or sand and still drop it. Hole number 5, we're going to play a very tough par 3, I would say one of the tougher par 3s in the whole game to consistently get an hole-in-one on. I'm gonna look for having the blue ring by the sand trap line with the tip of the ball guideline going center into the bright green square row, which is one green square row to the right of the pin. Once that is found, we use one topspin and 0.2 bars of side spin to the right. Adjustment shall be maximum distance with a 40% over adjustment power 3 ball settings. Have in mind that if you do have a more tailwind angle and also having the highest possible wind with a kingmaker, you may go in between clubs. The thing that you do then is that you go with a smidge on the power, just a little bit, but that's going to be a rare scenario that happens. I just want to at least add it though, because it's still going to be a risk of getting there. But then you will be unlucky. Right that pin for a beautiful hole-in-one. Again, I don't expect this one to drop all the time, but I expect myself to be close with this adjustment because it comes down lovely with the sniper. So focus and get yourself a chance of one of the tougher par 3s in the game. For hole number 6, I'm going to play with a Berserker ball, which is a power 5 ball, and it's not that it's absolutely necessary to do that, but I will explain why I'm gonna do that after we have taken this drive. We go with the top of the red ring by the rough line at the plus 23 yard mark. If you do have the quarterback level 7 or level 8, you start at the plus 27 yard mark due to the 4 yards less power. 2 bars side spin to the left and 3 bars of top spin. Now we're gonna apply curl, which is gonna be 1.5 ball outside the adjustment ring to the left. Great left, great right, or perfect will still be fine, even though it looks like it's gonna be clipped away by the tree, but that's not gonna happen. The closer we are to the top left corner, the better it's going to be. So, the reason I play with a Berserker ball here is to make sure 2 things. 1, if I would be making a bad shot and I'm going very short with my drive, I will still have the chance to reach for the green in 2. And then also, the second part with it is that I should be able to find room to adjust to actually attack the pin if I want to do that, which we will actually do in this scenario. Now you need to have in mind here though that even if I attack the pin, that is not something that you do have to follow, because this is going to be a low percentage albatross, and it's going to have to be a little bit luck involved with it, because you can see as well that we aim very close to the sand trap or rough line to the left. So if you're just a little bit off or you hit a bag right left, you may get stuck into that bunker or into that rough. And that might endanger you getting the eagle. So if you just want to play it safe to get it to the green, do so. Because again, it's the qualifying round. We don't want to lose out on the eagle. But at the same time, playing with medium distance, minus 15% elevation, aiming as much left as you can, like I did there in the video, 5 backspin, 2 left spin, and you know, with a decent portion of luck, we might get that ball to drop for an albatross a time or 2. But again, it's a qualifying round, so take it easy and make sure that you play according to what you feel is safe enough for you to make sure that you get as minimum an eagle. Hole number 7, which is the last of the par 3s that we do have here to play. And I'm gonna play 6.1 bar of backspin, which is gonna be possible to play with the sniper level 9 and 10. If you do not have the sniper 9 or 10, go with the guardian instead and apply the same type of structure, meaning that we go with the bullseye just before the edge of the top of the fringe. Ball guideline to the hole. Adjustment, medium distance with a 15% over adjustment. Perfect ball! Get in the hole. It's gonna bounce nicely on the fringe, getting it up towards the pin for a beautiful hole-in-one here on hole number 7. Once again, navigator ball is the only thing that is needed here. So lovely to play with a free-to-play ball that doesn't cost us much. Medium distance plus 15. Power 1 ball settings. Use a sniper 9 plus if you do have it, otherwise go with the guardian. For hole number 8, we do have headwind for the drive, which means that we cannot really play with the rock or with the quarterback here without having to go into overpower. So what I will do is that I'm using the driver with the most power that I do have, which is the extra mile level 8, starting just before the +1 yard mark. 1 bar of topspin, 2 bars of side spin to the right. Adjustment is maximum distance +10. If you do adjust into overpower, just add a tiny click of overpower, but in the majority of the times you will not do that, so then you just play a normal shot. Ball gets down very lovely on the fairway. The closer we can be on the right hand side, the better it's going to be. Because, again, the closer we are to the right, the closer we will be to the pin. Because the second shot here is not going to be easy. This mainly because we do have a little headwind and we do want to play with our sniper. If you don't have a sniper level 9+, I would recommend to play with the Cataclysm or with the Guardian to make sure that you do have the power enough without having to go into overpower. Me, being lucky having the sniper level 10, can use 2 bars of backspin and 2 bars of side spin to the right and aim for the pin. Ball guideline should go to the hole even though we have headwind. This is a very, not famous, but well-known par 4 for having the ball to come in hotter than we do expect, or at least what the ball guideline shows. So we bounce there nicely and we roll towards the pin, and if we wouldn't be that unlucky, we might would have snuck that one in on the right hand side. I adjusted from +5 maximum distance +20, and that will be close. Tough par 4 to end up with in the tournament, but definitely a makeable one. For hole number 9, we do have a little tailwind and we're going to use the rock. And here I'm using 3 bars of topspin, and you can see here now that I'm stretching out to see the ball guideline pointing straight down the fairway, which will equal half of the 4th ring inside the rough to the left. Starting at complete max. Adjust max +10, and you will see here that I do push up to complete max, which is 11 yards. If you do play with the rock level 8 or level 9, I would recommend to push up only 7 yards instead of 11 yards. This to compensate for the more power that you do have on the rock 8 and 9. Hit perfect, and you will see the ball coming down very lovely on the fairway. 358, the second shot. Now we're gonna look for a reference because we are in no man's land. Look where I am at the rough there. +7 to be clipping the rough there with the ball guideline towards the hole. You know, ball guide doesn't really matter, but the +7 does matter. So if we have the +7 at that spot in the rough, we're gonna use 3 bars of backspin, leave the ball guideline short, very important, or you will come in hot. And then we're gonna adjust medium distance with a 10% over adjustment, which is gonna be a total of 5.8 rings. Center the ball and hit perfect, and this is going to be very close, if not gonna go in. Perfect ball, nice! Bouncing nicely. We don't get the camera angle here, but we still get the ball to drop. Right at pin for a beautiful albatross on hole number 9. Once again, important, look for that reference by the rough. The plus yardage, that is 7, equals 50% slider, which is, in the end, 1-to-1 with a sniper. Simple, and get the albatross and be happy. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Pro Division, qualifying round edition with a lot of drops. And yes, get Ultimate Tournament guides, the absolute most detailed and best guides on the market for Pro, but we also have for Expert and Masters. And make sure to check it out, especially now in May, where we do have the May special, which you can read about more on Patreon. Link directly in the description down below. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Thank you so much once again for watching, and good luck in the Palm Tree Open Tournament.